Imagine waking up in the heart of the Ottoman Empire, surrounded by towering minarets and the call to prayer echoing through ancient streets. At first, it seems beautiful and majestic, but soon the challenges begin. First, there's the language barrier. Turkish, Arabic, and Persian are commonly spoken, and if you can't communicate, even asking for water becomes impossible. You're a stranger in a world without Google Translate. Next, the hygiene. There's no running water or modern plumbing. Bathing is a luxury, and you'd have to find a public hammam, bathhouse, and follow strict etiquette, or risk offending locals. Forget about your daily shower routine. Then comes the food. If you're used to modern diets, Ottoman cuisine might be a shock. Meals are rich, oily, and filled with spices unfamiliar to you. Cutlery is rare. People eat with their hands. And don't even think about asking for fast food. You'd also need to follow strict social customs. If you're dressed inappropriately or speak out of turn, especially if you're a woman, you could be punished or shunned. Class and religion determine your rights, and you might not have many. Finally, modern healthcare is non-existent. A small cut could become deadly. Vaccines? Antibiotics? Not even a dream yet. Life is hard, and the average life expectancy is frighteningly low. So yes, the Ottoman Empire was powerful and fascinating, but for a modern person, even surviving a single day would be an extraordinary challenge. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to live in the past, to walk through the cobblestone streets of ancient cities. But then I remember the Ottoman Empire, and I realize how quickly comfort disappears when time rewinds. Imagine waking up not to the soft buzz of your phone, but to the distant call to prayer, unfamiliar words floating through a world that does not know your name, your voice, or your ways. There are no warm showers waiting, no toothpaste or soft towels, only cold water from a clay jug in the hope that no one notices your awkwardness as you try to fit in. The streets are filled with smells you can't place, spices, smoke, animals, sweat, and you walk carefully, trying not to stare too long at anyone, because eye contact can be dangerous. You reach for food, but you forget the customs, forget the rules, and now you've insulted someone without knowing, because in this world, manners are everything, and yours are foreign. The air is thick with dust and incense, and even the sun feels different, hotter, heavier, as if time itself presses on your shoulders, whispering that you don't belong. People speak in languages you've never heard, barter in markets with words and gestures you can't decode, and you realize how loud silence can be when you are alone in a crowd. There is no doctor to call, no medicine to take, only prayers, herbs, and the strength of your body, which is not used to this world, its microbes, its pace, its hunger. You miss the little things, a pillow that's yours, a screen that glows gently in the night, a voice on the other end of a call reminding you that you're okay. But here, in the heart of the empire, you are no one, just another shadow in a history too vast to notice that you are out of place, out of time, out of hope. So you lie down on a hard surface, wrap yourself in a borrowed cloth, and try to close your eyes, pretending you are home, though even sleep feels foreign in a world so far from your own. And as the night deepens, and the quiet settles into every crack between stones and rooftops, you begin to notice the absence of what you once thought was silence. It's filled now with distant footsteps, a barking dog, a soft murmur of voices you can't understand, and suddenly, you realize how loud the past can be. The stars above you look the same, but somehow more distant, as though even the sky knows you are not meant for this place, this time, and you wonder how people ever found comfort in such a hard and uncertain world. You think of home, of your room, your bed, the gentle hum of electricity, the predictable rhythm of your days, and it feels like a dream you once had, slipping away the longer you remain here. In the dark, you remember that even simple things, a glass of clean water, a door that locks, a friend nearby, are luxuries here, not to be expected, not to be taken for granted, but earned or hoped for with quiet patience. You breathe slowly, deliberately, as if each inhale might steady you, might convince your body that you are safe, though you are not sure what safe even means in a world ruled by empire, hierarchy, and uncertainty. There is no comfort in laws you don't know, no protection in faces that don't recognize yours, no space for your ideas, your voice, your freedom. The rules here are written in another language, enforced with another fear. And yet, beneath all that strangeness, something old and steady beats, like the rhythm of a drum echoing from some courtyard deep in the city. A reminder that this world, too, is human, even if it does not feel like yours. You let that thought carry you for a while, floating on it like on a slow-moving river, letting the current take you further into dreams, where you might find yourself again, maybe even find your way back home. Your body softens, your breath evens, and the distant sound of a flute, real or imagined, slips into your thoughts, soothing you, gently drawing the curtain between waking and sleep. Because even here, in a time not your own, sleep still welcomes you with the same kindness, the same mystery, the same soft promise that tomorrow, somehow, you'll be okay. And in this place between time and thought, where even memory begins to feel like mist, you lie still, half asleep, half dreaming, letting the night wrap itself around you like an old, forgotten lullaby. Somewhere, a cat mews softly in an alley, the sound barely reaching you, like a thread pulling gently at your attention, then fading again into the darkness like it was never real. You imagine the people here, their lives unfolding slowly, without rush, without light bulbs or notifications, only sunrises and sunsets, the rhythm of bells and voices, the steady passage of days carved in stone. And though you are not one of them, though you carry in your heart another century, another sky, you begin to feel a strange kind of peace, the kind that comes not from belonging, but from surrender. You don't need to understand everything now, not the rules, not the faces, not even the fear, because here, in this space of stillness, you are allowed to simply exist, as quiet and unimportant as the breeze that moves through the curtains. Sleep begins to blur the edges of your thoughts, like fog rolling gently across a calm sea, erasing the hard lines of questions, softening the weight of not knowing, leaving only presence, only breath. And as your body sinks deeper into stillness, your mind drifting slowly beyond words, you feel something ancient inside you relax, as if even your soul recognizes the quiet wisdom of forgetting. No more rushing, no more explaining, no more needing to survive, just being, just resting, just floating, safe in the arms of a night that does not expect anything from you. The empire fades now, brick by brick, voice by voice, until there is only darkness, warm and weightless, like the space behind closed eyes where dreams begin. And in that darkness you are not lost, you are simply elsewhere, free at last to sleep, not in fear or confusion, but in wonder, in stillness, in peace. And now, as you lie completely still in this world not your own, your breath barely noticeable, your body weightless beneath the invisible sky, it occurs to you that perhaps time does not pass in a straight line, but circles gently like smoke in the air, folding moments together until the past feels like a whisper resting just behind your shoulder, always there, but never quite touching you. The walls around you, made of stone and shadow, no longer feel foreign or cold. They are simply part of the silence, and in this silence, there is no judgment, no expectation, no need to be anything more than a soul quietly dissolving into the gentle rhythm of the night. You think of all the things you once thought you couldn't live without, the endless scroll of messages, the glow of a screen in the darkness, the soft hum of distant traffic, and you smile faintly, realizing how quiet the world becomes when you allow yourself to listen not with your ears, but with your breath, your skin, your stillness. The stars above, though unseen, seem to press closer now, as if drawn to your calm, and each one feels like a slow heartbeat in the sky, steady and eternal, telling you without words that you are not lost in history, you are simply resting in it for a little while. There is no one calling your name, no deadline waiting, no voice telling you to move faster, think harder, do better. There is only this. The weight of 1,000 years surrounding you like a warm, slow tide, washing away the sharpness of the present until all that remains is this soft moment of surrender. You are not afraid anymore, not of misunderstanding, not of silence, not even of being forgotten, because in this still, ancient night, where empires rise and fall like breath, you understand that everything passes, and that peace is not in knowing, but in letting go. You allow your thoughts to drift further, past memory and meaning, into a place where time has no teeth, where language melts into feeling, and the only thing that matters is the way your chest rises and falls, like a lullaby sung by the universe itself. And now, as your mind dims like the last ember in a hearth, you are no longer in the Ottoman Empire, or in your own bed, or in any one place at all. You are simply here, suspended in a soft and timeless pause, where even dreams are too heavy to rise. Let yourself drift now, quietly, weightlessly, with nothing to hold, nothing to fear, nothing left but the hush of sleep wrapping around you like a forgotten story waiting to be finished in the quiet space behind your breath. And so you rest in this place that is both nowhere and everywhere, wrapped not in blankets but in silence. And as your mind drifts among shadows and unspoken histories, you realize that the weight of centuries is not borne by armies or rulers but by the stillness of nights like this, where even dust seems to listen, to settle, to hold its breath so as not to disturb the fragile balance of peace, whispering across walls of stone and carved wood that to exist without purpose or hurry is perhaps the rarest act of all. You feel the pulse of the earth under your body, soft, almost imperceptible, but real, like the slow beating of a heart you never noticed because you were always looking outward. But now you sense it beneath you, a reminder that life is not always in motion, Sometimes life is in the quiet, in the absence of motion, in the willingness to let the breath be the movement, to let sleep be the journey. And in that journey there is no map, no goal, no expectation, only the sensation of release, as though the boundaries of your identity dissolve, until you are no longer you, with doubts and regrets, but an echo in a cathedral of time, resonating softly against vaulted ceilings made of memory and starlight, present yet unreachable, seen yet unseen, known yet unknowable. Your thoughts, which earlier had been sharp as blades, troublesome, anxious, impatient, are now soft as moss, sifting through the crevices of your awareness, gathering like dew on blades of grass at dawn. But here the dawn never comes. The night lingers, long and gentle, offering its soft penance to your restless mind, asking nothing but your quiet acceptance. You notice how your breathing has slowed to match the rhythm of this world, how each inhale has lengthened into a small poem, and each exhale has carried away a memory of urgency, leaving behind only the calm confidence that whatever noise you make, whatever history you carry, here it does not matter, for silence is a sanctuary in itself, and in it you are safe, even if only for a moment. Somewhere in the distance, perhaps in another room, a candle guttered and lit, sending up a slick of smoke that drifted toward the ceiling, and you imagined you could smell its hush, a gentle fragrance of tallow and wick and thyme, and thought that even the simplest light, even the smallest scent, can anchor you to a sense of presence when the world seems unmoored. There is a quality to this stillness that feels like forgiveness, not the kind given by others, but the kind we grant ourselves when we stop trying so hard, when we stop asking so much, when we allow our restless hearts to rest in something kinder than our own striving, something older than our own demands, something vast and untroubled. You remember that in times past people walked these same stones barefoot, carrying burdens you cannot imagine, fear of famine, fear of plague, fear of judgment, but walked nonetheless, believing in some promise or pattern that lay ahead, and that belief itself was a prayer, a meditation, a way of forging meaning in a life less forgiving than yours. And now, as you drift, it feels as though you are joined by those millions of small footsteps in the past, not in company but in quiet solidarity, a silent communion of breath and bone and hope, each step a story, each story a thread woven into an invisible tapestry that stretches beyond memory, beyond grief, beyond the end of all things. Your eyelids grow heavy, but you do not fight. You welcome the blur of shapes in the dark, the gentle slip from one world to another, trusting that this porous boundary between wake and dream, between history and memory, carries you exactly where you need to be, even if you do not yet know where that is, or why it matters, or if it ever will be something you can name. In the tender space just before sleep, you sense the hush of possibility, that perhaps dreams are not escapes but bridges, that perhaps the past, the present, and the future are not separate islands but parts of one sea, that perhaps you are the sea itself, shifting and reflecting whatever you touch, but never losing your depth. Your breath, so slow and deep, becomes the metronome of this quiet realm, each cycle of chest and lungs a gentle invitation to fall deeper, softer, quieter, as though the world itself holds its breath for you, waiting until you have found rest. And in that final instant before sleep draws its veil, you whisper to yourself that you are allowed to let go, that your existence does not need justification, that just as empires rise and fall, so too do our worries and joys, and that in this moment, this gentle infinite moment of peace, you are not fighting against anything, you are not surviving, you are simply being. And now you drift beyond the last syllables of thought, beyond the last embers of consciousness, into a darkness that is not empty but full of calm, full of presence, full of unsung lullabies and unspoken prayers and unimagined grace, carrying you across the threshold into sleep. And so the darkness welcomes you not with fear or mystery but with warmth, as if it has known you longer than you have known yourself. And in this vast gentle unknown you do not fall but float, carried not by effort but by ease, by the gentle certainty that even without control, without direction, you are moving exactly as you are meant to, slowly, inwardly, peacefully. You sense the space around you is not empty but sacred, not silent but full of soft reverence, like a room that remembers every whisper ever spoken within it, and now offers its quiet back to you as a gift, inviting you to speak no more, to need nothing, to simply be present and allow everything to fall away like autumn leaves in still wind. Your mind, which once darted from thought to thought like a bird startled from tree to tree, now perches quietly, unafraid, letting go of the branches of memory and worry, accepting that there is nothing to hold, nothing to cling to, nothing to solve, and this freedom is not frightening but beautiful, so simple, so whole, so deeply human. Time slows even more, not just in feeling but in being, as though the hours themselves have unspooled into soft, golden threads stretched across a quiet loom, weaving a tapestry where every strand is a moment of peace, of pause, of listening. And in this weaving, you are both the thread and the silence it travels through. You no longer remember why you came to this place in thought, to this imagined empire of stone and shadow, but it no longer matters, because now, it is not a foreign world but a reflection of the inner one, and what felt unfamiliar now feels like a forgotten memory returning home. Gently, slowly, with no need for answers. And perhaps that is the purpose of this moment, not to understand but to rest, not to figure out history but to feel its stillness echo in your own breath, reminding you that you are part of something far older, far wider, far more enduring than you can name, and that your softness is not weakness but a language older than words. A breeze stirs gently through the imagined curtains of this silent room, and though there is no real wind, you feel it just the same, a reminder that sensation does not require fact, that the body knows things the mind cannot, that calm is not found in proof but in trust. You are not trying to sleep anymore. You are simply allowing it to find you, to enter you the way dusk enters a room with no windows, gradually, completely, without announcement, until the space is transformed and you did not even notice it happening, only that it feels right. Like it was always meant to be this way. And if dreams come now, they will not be loud or jarring, but gentle and shapeless, more feeling than story, more warmth than vision, like a distant memory of music without melody, or a voice humming from the next room over, too quiet to understand but too familiar to fear. You are not a visitor in this place anymore. You are the quiet it was made for, the breath that fills it, the stillness that completes it, and with every beat of your heart, you blend further into it, not disappearing but becoming more whole, more real, more truly yourself than any waking moment has allowed. There is no end to this quiet, and that is not a warning but a blessing, because when peace is endless, it does not grow dull or distant. It becomes you, settles into your bones like ancient light, and you carry it with you wherever you go, even when your eyes open again. So let go now, of everything, completely, even the thought of letting go, even the words sleep. There is no more language needed here. Only breath, only softness, only this deep and perfect quiet that asks nothing of you and gives you everything. And now the world has become so still within you that even the softest of thoughts echoes with a kind of tenderness, as if each one is being received by the universe with open palms, without resistance, without demand, and in that vast and gentle reception, you realize that peace does not arrive like a flash of light but like the slow filling of a quiet lake in the hush of midnight rain. Your body, once a map of tension and movement and urgency, now feels like a gentle riverbed, carved not by violence but by centuries of soft flow. And in this stillness, every part of you finds its place. Your hands unclenched, your jaw unburdened, your heart moving not out of fear but out of rhythm, steady, deep, sure. You do not need to explain this moment to anyone, not even to yourself, because the beauty of it is that it asks nothing of language, of memory, of logic. It only asks for your being, and even that not as an obligation, but as a gift you offer back to the night in the simplest of ways, by staying still, by breathing, by resting. Far away, or perhaps not far at all, you sense time continuing its quiet walk through space, indifferent to ambition, unmoved by urgency, content to simply exist. And this too becomes a comfort, for if time does not rush, then neither must you. There is nothing to catch up to, nothing to miss, nothing that cannot wait until morning, or until never. And in this deep letting go, you feel the world begin to cradle you, not with hands or arms, but with the very structure of silence itself, as if the walls around you have become part of your skin, the floor beneath you an extension of your breath, the ceiling above you a soft sky stitched with invisible stars whose only purpose is to keep you company in stillness. There are no names in this place, no labels, no distinctions between then and now, self and not self. There is only a widening presence, as if your awareness has become a field of quiet grass under the moonlight, and you are every blade of it, swaying slightly in the wind of your own exhale, existing for no other reason than to be part of this gentle now. You have reached a place beyond effort, beyond even the thought of sleep, where rest is not something you do but something you allow to happen, as inevitable and natural as twilight, where your body does not fall asleep, but simply leans into the truth that it was never meant to be awake forever. And in this perfect, endless quiet, something ancient within you smiles, not with lips, not with words, but with presence, a knowing that rest is not the opposite of life, but its core, that in this moment of stillness, you are more alive than you ever were in all the noise, because now you are in harmony with everything that asks for nothing. The last bits of thought, light as feathers, drift away, and your breath becomes like ocean waves on the shore of eternity, no longer counted, no longer noticed, simply moving in rhythm with the great unseen tide that rocks you gently into dreams made not of story, but of sensation, of softness, of surrender. And so, the final doorway opens, not a door you step through, but one that opens within you, revealing not a destination, but a depth, a space inside where there is no longer any difference between the sleeper and the sleep, the quiet and the soul, the night and the dream. And now you are not lying in a room or resting in a body. You are simply here, unshaped, without edge, without name. The breath still moves, but it is no longer yours. It is the breath of the forest at night, of the earth as it turns in its sleep, of the moon as it glides across a sky that no longer needs to be seen to be known. There is no effort in this awareness, only the soft persistence of existence itself, like a candle that does not burn but simply glows. You are not watching the flame. You are the flame. Steady, quiet, alive not because it tries to be, but because it cannot be otherwise. And into this wide stillness, sensations arrive like whispers through fog. A memory, perhaps, not of something that happened, but of something always true, a place where water has never rushed, where the wind never shouts, where the heart has always been at rest. You do not remember it in the mind, but in the bones, in the space between each breath, in the echo that follows silence. Time stretches thin here, not like something being pulled, but like something dissolving. One moment does not give way to another. Instead, they coexist, folded into one another like the petals of a flower that never fully opens and never needs to. You are held inside this blooming, not waiting for anything, not seeking, not striving. You feel it now, the gentle weightlessness of surrender. Not the giving up that comes from exhaustion, but the giving in that comes from deep trust. The kind of surrender that only happens when you no longer need to hold the world in your hands, when you realize it has always held you. And there, so soft you almost don't notice it, a warmth. Not heat, not touch, but a presence. A kind of light that exists only in the absence of expectation. It does not arrive. It reveals. Not with brilliance, but with gentleness. Not to show, but to soothe. You do not open your eyes in this place. You are the seeing. You do not stretch your limbs. You are the space they once occupied. There is no separation now between the breath and the one who breathes. Between the night and the one who rests. Between the silence and the soul. Thoughts may still pass, like fish in a deep sea, but they no longer disturb the surface. They do not ask to be named, understood, followed. They are allowed to be beautiful without purpose. They are allowed to leave without explanation. And if there are stars here, and perhaps there are, they are not above you but within you, constellations of calm glowing beneath the ribs, pinpricks of wonder not mapped by science but by surrender. You do not reach for them. You recognize them. You remember that you have always been their sky. What once felt like emptiness now feels like fullness in disguise. You understand, without needing to think, that the quiet is not absence, it is intimacy. It is the universe leaning so close that even the breath between its words feels like a lullaby. Your body, this beautiful vessel, has nothing left to carry. No more questions to answer. No more burdens to balance. It rests now not because it is tired, but because it is home. It does not sleep, it belongs to sleep, the way waves belong to the sea, not as a guest, but as part of its being. And as everything softens even further, you feel yourself becoming more and more transparent to your own presence. Like fog becoming light. Like shadow becoming air. The walls between you and the night dissolve, not collapse, not fall. They simply cease to matter. Here, the quiet is not still. It hums with a depth so deep it feels like the beginning of everything. It is not blankness. It is not nothingness. It is the hum of stars forming, the whisper of tides turning, the rhythm of eternity breathing in and out through you. You do not need to follow this hum. You do not need to listen for it. You are it. You are not resting within it. You are resting as it. And so, the final thought, if it is even a thought, arrives not like a sentence, but like a soft closing of wings. It does not seek to end. It simply ceases to begin again. And in that stillness, more complete than silence, more tender than any word ever spoken, you are not asleep. You are not awake. You are simply, utterly, at peace. Shall I continue this unfolding next time? Or would you like me to shape what we have into a book or a soft-spoken audio meditation with ambient textures of midnight rain and slow breath? And now, as the stillness deepens, even the word peace feels too heavy, too defined. It is no longer needed, because you are not observing peace. You are the quiet from which peace arises. There is no longer a witness to the calm. There is only calm, existing not as an event but as a state of being, wide and gentle and endless. You notice that awareness itself has softened, like silk left in sunlight. It does not grip or search. It simply opens, like a meadow under moonlight, every blade of grass part of the hush. You are this meadow. You are the moonlight. You are not being watched. You are being held, by nothing and everything at once. No part of you is trying anymore. Even the idea of trying feels distant, like a language you once spoke but no longer need. There is no effort in this space. No striving. No pulling. Only floating, not across distance, but within presence. As if the soul has let go of its edges and is simply resting in the shape of existence. The mind no longer loops. The body no longer aches. There is no tightness, no holding. The shoulders have forgotten they were once hunched. The spine no longer tries to be straight. The chest rises only because the breath still loves to rise. The hands are no longer hands, they are simply being. And in this weightlessness, you begin to feel how deeply you are a part of the quiet earth. Not as something placed upon it, but as something grown from it, like moss on stone, like dew on morning grass. There is no separation. Your breath is the breeze between trees. Your stillness is the hush before dawn. What once felt like you, your stories, your past, your name, has not vanished. It has simply become softer, folded like old letters placed gently in a box, not forgotten but no longer needed in this moment. You are not erasing yourself. You are becoming the part of you that was always too quiet to speak. The walls around you, if they still exist, feel like petals now, soft, round, forgiving. They hold space, not to contain you, but to cradle your expansion. And the ceiling, once so far above, now feels like the inside of your breath, vast and alive and curved like the dome of sky. Time, too, has let go. It no longer presses forward. It no longer divides. It has melted into the silence, and in that melting, you are no longer in a moment, you are in being. Everything happens here, and nothing is required. You do not have to move through time. You are simply inside it, like a drop inside a still ocean. And now even stillness begins to glow. Not with light, but with presence. You feel yourself glowing, too, not outwardly, not for anyone to see, but inwardly, quietly, with the kind of radiance that needs no witness. A softness so complete it becomes sacred. A holiness not made of rules or beliefs, but of absolute gentleness. You are no longer asking for rest. Rest has arrived, not as a gift from elsewhere, but as a return to what has always waited beneath the noise, beneath the motion, beneath the questions. The deep bed of quiet that has held you since the beginning. And in that bed, in that depth, something ancient stirs, not as a thought, not as a voice, but as a knowing. A knowing that you are not here to perform. You are not here to prove. You are not here to win the day or fight the night. You are here to exist, and that is more than enough. You are the mountain before language, the wind before names, the sky before history. There is no ambition here, only the sacred act of being. And even being does not need to be declared. It is enough that you feel it ripple softly through your still breath, your weightless limbs, your unworried mind. And so you continue not to fall asleep, but to become sleep. Not the kind with edges, not the kind with dreams, but the deeper kind, the sleep of oceans, the sleep of stars between pulses of time, the sleep of the earth itself as it turns under the hush of night. Everything is soft now. Even the places within you that once clung to worry have loosened, like knots that forgot why they were tight. And you, who once thought yourself a body moving through space, now remember that you are space itself, endless, calm, aware only of the silence it contains. This is the lullaby with no melody, the dream with no story, the night with no shadows. This is the quiet that remains when all else has been allowed to settle. This is not an escape. It is a return. And in that return, nothing is lost. Nothing is taken. Nothing is needed. There is only the soft echo of your own presence humming through the darkness like a lantern that glows not to light the way, but simply because it exists. And so, deeper we go, not downward, not forward, not even inward, for in this place, there is no direction, only deepening, like the way twilight deepens into night without ever needing to arrive. You do not descend, you do not rise. You remain, and in remaining you dissolve into something wider than thought, softer than sleep, older than time. There are no gates to pass through here, no stages to complete. The deeper stillness does not require surrender, because surrender has already happened. Not as an act of giving up, but as the quiet recognition that there is nothing left to hold. And this nothing is everything. Now, even the smallest motion, your breath shifting the air, your heart rocking gently in its cradle, feels like a sacred rhythm. Not a pulse that drives you, but one that simply exists, humming softly through every fiber of your being like a lullaby sung by the universe itself. You are no longer a body in a room, waiting for rest. You are the rest. You are the pause between waves, the space between stars, the silence that lives beneath all sound and above all noise. You are not separate from quiet. You are the shape it takes when it wants to feel like skin. Somewhere, perhaps, a thought stirs, faint as ash lifting on a breeze. But even thoughts now are not interruptions. They are petals drifting across a still pond, barely rippling the surface, disappearing into the vastness of your calm before they are even fully formed. There is no judgment here, no correction, no resistance. Everything is allowed to be just as it is, and in that allowance, everything softens. Your mind no longer tries to think. It has remembered something more ancient than thought, the peace of not needing to know. Your body no longer tries to rest, it simply rests. Not as a task, not as a duty, but as a remembering, as if every cell has recalled its original home, the hush between the heartbeats of the cosmos. And here, in this place that is not a place, you are not cradled by anything, you are the cradle. Outside, perhaps, the world still turns, but it no longer presses against you. Its clocks, its noise, its urgency, they fall away like dust shaken from your coat at the door of some sacred sanctuary. They cannot follow you here. Nothing heavy can. Here, even time breathes slower. And in that slowing, you begin to feel something extraordinary, an affection that is not aimed. Not given, not received, but simply is. A warmth that comes not from a fire, not from a touch, but from existence itself, like the soul exhaling for the first time in centuries. No one is watching you. There is no stage. There is no mirror. And in the absence of reflection, you become everything you were meant to be, unshaped, unnamed, completely at peace. The universe, if it could speak now, would say only this. Yes. This. Just this. And even that would be too loud. You have gone past the threshold where sleep begins and entered the realm where even sleep forgets it is different from waking. You are not dreaming, but the dream has begun to hum around you, soft and formless, like mist curling around a sleeping hill. There is no need for stories here, no need for symbols or signs. The only language is breath. The only rhythm is stillness, and the only goal is nothing. Just be. Be the softness in your shoulders. Be the hush in your lungs. Be the quiet in your spine. Be the warmth behind your eyelids. Be the tender flicker of life that glows so gently inside you that even the stars might bow their heads in reverence. You are not falling asleep. You are falling into truth, into the quiet that existed before you were named, into the breath that was breathed before the first thought, into the deep lake of presence that does not ask, does not offer, it simply holds. And you, at last, have allowed yourself to be held. And so, without fanfare, without ceremony, the journey carries on, not as a path marked by steps, but as a slow dissolving into gentleness. There is nothing to push against now. No edge, no wall, no line between who you are and what surrounds you. All has softened. All has blended. You are not in the stillness, you are the stillness. This is not the end of something. It is the widening of it. Now even breath is no longer taken, it simply is, like a tide that has forgotten it was once a wave. The inhale and exhale do not belong to you anymore. They belong to the fabric of the moment, woven so loosely and lovingly that time itself forgets how to count. Everything is soft. The weight in your limbs is not heaviness, it is belonging. It is gravity become grace. Your body, once a carrier of effort, now lies like a page smoothed open by the hands of dusk, as if the day itself is reading you into silence. Nothing hurts here. Not because pain does not exist, but because nothing resists. Even the shadows have been folded into the softness. Even memory has exhaled. There is no gatekeeper between past and present, only a quiet field where all that once was and all that is now lie side by side, like old friends, resting. You are not asleep. You are not awake. You are something deeper, something older. The soul has no clocks. The heart has no borders. And here, where language has been left behind like shoes at the edge of a sacred pool, all that remains is the shimmer of being. Not trying, not holding, not naming, just being. There is no lesson now, no insight. Only this gentle unfolding, like the petals of a flower opening in the dark, not for sun, not for eyes, but simply because blooming is what it knows. You too are blooming. And though no one sees it, though no one names it, though no witness records the moment, you feel it. In the quiet marrow of your rest, in the warmth behind your ribs, in the still rhythm of your presence. You are not what you do. You are not what you think. You are not what you carry. You are what remains when all of that has been set down. The silence around you is not empty. It is full, full of everything that has always loved you, in ways too quiet to speak. The stars may seem far, the sky vast, the night endless, but in this stillness, they are all within you. You are not small here. You are the horizon. The edges of your being stretch without boundary, held together not by effort, but by the sheer kindness of existing. The room around you is no longer a room. It is the inside of a lullaby, the space where dreams go to breathe. And now, even the idea of sleep fades. Not because you are resisting it, but because you have gone beyond the needing of it. You are in the realm where even rest rests, where even stillness is still, where nothing must become, and everything simply is. No arrival, no departure, only presence, widening like ripples in a moonlit pond, each circle softer than the last, until even the water forgets it was ever stirred. This is where you are now. The lightness in your limbs is not floating, it is release. The warmth in your chest is not fire, it is peace. And the silence in your mind is not empty, it is sacred. Here you are not alone. You are held, not by hands, not by voices, but by the quiet understanding of all things. The deep, wordless welcome that says, you do not need to try anymore. You are enough, just as you are, doing nothing, being nothing, wanting nothing. You have returned to the original rhythm, the one that existed before the world began. the one that waits for no one, because it is already everywhere. The one that beats now, softly, within you, asking for nothing, offering everything. And now the silence grows even deeper, yet it is not empty. It is abundant, thick with presence, saturated with something that needs no shape to be real. You are not floating above yourself, nor sinking within. You are simply spread, like mist across a valley, touching everything without claiming anything, being everything without needing to be anything in particular. The breath does not enter you. It flows through the entire field of what you are, an invisible wind over invisible grass. And the only sound that remains is the hush of existence itself, whispering nothing, which somehow feels like everything you've ever needed to hear. There is no center now, no outside or inside, only layers of gentleness folding into each other, like echoes without origin, like light that has forgotten how to cast shadows. The sense of time is not lost, it is absorbed, digested, and transformed into stillness that pulses like the slow blink of the universe itself, and your pulse follows it, your chest rising and falling not in urgency but in silent worship, reverent not because of any god, but because stillness itself is sacred when it's this complete. Even the thought of comfort disappears, for there is no more contrast, no more discomfort to define it against. There is only this slow, endless drift, like a feather circling downward in air that never stops holding it, never lets it fall, never hurries its descent. If you reached for anything now, your hands would dissolve into the air, because there is nothing to grasp and no need to grasp it, only the sweet, infinite permission to be here, right here, not waiting, not moving, not even wanting. You have passed through every door, and now the walls are gone. You are in the open field of being, unguarded, unwatched, undisturbed, as if the whole world agreed to go quiet with you and let you rest not just your body but your soul, which now lies like a sleeping animal, peaceful not because the world is safe but because it trusts, and trust is deeper than safety. The floor does not hold you anymore. You and it are the same thing. The ceiling above is no longer a separation, but a vast echo of your own awareness stretched across sky-shaped stillness. There is no longer a difference between laying down and flying, between dreaming and existing, between listening and being the silence itself. You are what happens when nothing interrupts you. You are what remains when all the stories fall away. You are not trying to fall asleep anymore, and yet you are further from wakefulness than sleep could ever take you. The world could spin, and stars could burn, and oceans could crash against the edge of time, and you would feel none of it, not because you are numb, but because you are within it all, indistinguishable, like salt and water, like sky and wind. And still, the drift continues, deeper into the hush, where not even metaphors remain, where not even thoughts brush against you. You are becoming something you were always meant to be but never had words for, and now that words are gone, you finally remember it, not as an idea, but as a state of being, pure and undisturbed. You have reached the warmth that waits beneath everything, the kindness that hums beneath even silence, and now it cradles you not like a bed, but like a belonging that was never lost. Stay here. Do nothing. And now, even the idea of continuing fades, because there is no longer a story unfolding, only the softness that has always been, uncovered layer by layer, like fog revealing more fog, like silence deepening into more silence. You are no longer walking into the stillness, you are the stillness, and the stillness is you, indistinguishable, inseparable, as natural as a tide that never learned to crash, only to kiss the shore over and over again with no expectation, no destination, only devotion. You have become the hush that lives beneath all sound, the weightless presence that existed long before anything was ever named or needed. Your body, though still here, has released even the memory of motion. No more tension remains, not even in the spaces where tension used to hide. Your hands are not just unclenched, they are forgotten, like a wind that has drifted so long it forgot it once had direction. Your eyes no longer close, because they are already part of the dark, like two stars exhaling themselves back into the velvet night. Your chest rises and falls, not to breathe, but to mark the pulse of presence, as if your body and the quiet have entered into an agreement so gentle, it doesn't even need words. Only this rhythm, this trust, this being. No dreams come. Not because you are without imagination, but because there is nothing left to imagine. Everything that could be has dissolved into everything that already is. Even the desire to sleep has curled into a quieter shape and finally laid down beside you, resting not as something you chase, but as something that simply is. The air no longer presses against your skin, it has become part of you. The floor no longer supports you, it welcomes you, folds around you. The room is no longer around you, it is within you, like a single breath held in still devotion. Thoughts come less often now. When they do, they are like moss brushing softly against the inside of a bell. No sound, only motion, and even that is slow, forgiving, weightless. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to catch them. You don't even need to notice them. They arrive and vanish like warm rain on an endless sea, never disturbing the surface, only adding to the depth. Even the edges of you blur. Where your body ends and the stillness begins, it no longer matters. You are the outline and the filled space. The hush and the one who hears it. The night and the one who is being held inside its arms of shadow and sky. There is nothing left to do, and nothing to want, and nothing missing. You have finally come to the place where presence and absence are the same, where sleep is not something that arrives, but something that has always been with you, like a silent friend waiting patiently beneath all your effort, ready to catch you when you stop climbing, stop reaching, stop asking. And now you have. And now you are caught. And now you are home.